Hello everyone, this is Professor Shankar Builder. My previous two videos on career choices and education got very good response. And I also got requests from parents and students alike asking me to do a video on the options which a student after completing their 12th standard or PUC as we call it in state board can possibly explore. Therefore today here I am with my presentation titled After 12th or PUC, What to Choose and Why. Let's look at some of these options. We all know that anyone who has completed their plus 2 or PUC would have possibly come from three major streams, either from science or commerce or arts and humanities. And today I would be discussing and focusing only on science stream, and in my forthcoming videos I'll be talking about commerce and arts and humanities. Let's now look at what a science student can possibly look at in his or her undergraduate programs. Collectively, all the options can come under STEM. This acronym STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And now mathematics has been combined with computers. If you look at the possible course and career options under STEM, we have many courses and many options. But most of this course have common objectives. Now let us look at some of the common objectives of STEM courses. You have to become critical thinker. Any student wanting to explore further doing any of the STEM courses should go on to become a critical thinker, a problem solver, and a next generation innovator. Unless the student develops these skills along with the course, they will not be able to make much of an impact in the job market. And according to the National Science Foundation, it's predicted that 80% of the future jobs in the next coming decades will require some form of STEM knowledge and skills. Now let's look at the broad options which can be pursued under science. It can be basically categorized into three groups. Physical sciences, where the student can study subjects of physics, chemistry, and astronomy, or it could be earth science, under which they can study geology, oceanography, paleontology, or meteorology, or they could study something under life sciences involving subjects like botany, zoology, genetics, and medicine. If you look at the courses as an option which is available in science, there are basically two groups here. One group of courses comes under university affiliated programs. Any college which is affiliated to a particular university would usually be offering these programs, and we call it as BSc General, Bachelors of Science. It's a generic program for 3 years duration. And we'll also have an MSc integrated program. And my suggestion to students is, if you just do your BSc, the job options would be very limited and your valuation in the market will not be very high. Therefore, if you choose to do BSc under a university affiliated program, then it is advisable that you take up an MSc integrated program of 5 years, or else after completing your BSc, please go ahead, think about your specialization and do your post graduation to enhance your job prospects. On the other side, we have institutional programs where some premier institutions and nationally eminent institutions would offer their programs, and these programs would generally be for a period of 4 years, that is Bachelor of Science Research 4 years, or it could be an MS integrated, Master of Science integrated for 5 years. But these programs would be basically research oriented. So unless the student has a research orientation and is keen to further explore and pursue knowledge in a particular field, then these programs will not make much sense. Now, I would like to discuss few institutes which offer these research oriented programs, because university affiliated programs, we have a lot of institutions, colleges and universities approved by UGC, so getting the information is pretty easy. If you look at the other research oriented program, that is BS or Bachelor of Science, the premier and the foremost institution offering this program is Indian Institute of Science, based in Bangalore. They offer this program in physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, environmental science, and material science. So basically, they include almost everything of STEM. And anyone wanting to get into this program will have to do very well in the entrance exam. Generally, KVPY or IIT mains is considered for admitting students into these programs. Then we have Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, popularly known as IISCR. We have around 7 branches of this in India. And this institute, again, offers you a 5 years integrated program, BSMS combined. And this is a research-oriented program. And they offer the programs in the field of physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, and earth and environmental science. If you generally look at STEM courses and careers, most of the programs offered under STEM in conventional universities, they have certain drawbacks. Let us understand what are the major bottlenecks or drawbacks in conventional university programs. That is, if you want to do a BSc program, usually or most of the universities have very obsolete curriculum, and the focus is more on rote learning and not on knowledge enhancement. And even the campus culture would be pretty restrictive, because the student would not be challenged, students would not be given any good assignments or internships or projects. So basically, it's a restrictive campus culture is what you find in conventional university programs. And the major drawback here is most of them will not have a research or an innovation ecosystem in the campus. So the absence of this is going to hurt the career prospect of the students. Now compare this system to a program which is offered in premier research institutions. Curriculum would be updated and robust, so it would be as per the requirement and need of the present days. And here the focus would be on application of knowledge. It would be more on research. And the campus culture would usually be very vibrant, creating a conducive environment for learning. And the major advantage of premier institution, research institutions is it will usually have an ecosystem which fosters research and innovation. So these are the advantages if, as a student, you can get admitted into premier research institutes to pursue your bachelor's course. And the next part of STEM is technology engineering. I have bracketed this in one group because there is not much of a differentiation between technology and engineering undergraduate programs, because both are offered for 4 years duration, and they're similar in content and curriculum. But the only difference would be in the orientation of these courses. Bachelor's of Engineering is more concept and theory oriented, and BTech or Bachelor's of Technology is more hands-on, practical and skill based. So based on your mindset and your intention, you can either get into a BE or a BTech program. If you look at any of the BE or BTech programs offered in India, we can basically put them into 2 groups. One group would be domain specific programs. Anything in mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, these are domain specific programs, or even computer science. The advantage of domain specific programs is if you do your engineering or BTech program in these branches, you will be able to work across the sectors. Any sector in the economy where there is a requirement of mechanical engineers or civil or electrical engineers, you can work for them. On the other hand, you have some courses which is industry specific. For example, aeronautical, automobile, or fashion technology, petroleum, naval architecture and shipbuilding, agricultural engineering, and the list goes on. If you look at any of these industry specific courses, if a student joins and completes the program successfully, then they will have to seek job prospects in that specific industry only. For whatever reason, either because of lack of job opportunities, or if the student later loses interest in that industry, and if they want to diversify and get into other domains, then they will not be valued much by the market. So therefore, here the caution what a student has to exercise is, before taking up industry specific program, the student has to doubly make sure that that is the industry they're passionate about, that is the industry they're interested in pursuing their career on a long-term basis. Only if they're sure of that, they can pick up industry specific courses. If you look at the technical or engineering education in India, we have a three-tier structure. This is important to understand from job prospects. At the top of the pyramid, you have the IITs and few national institutions of eminence. And you know, the space is very less there, the seats are very less, and the demand is very high for these institutions. So the competition is very, very tough. So if you have to get into this, then obviously you have to do very well in the entrance exam, that is IIT Mains and Advanced. And next, at the next level, we have the NITs and some premium institutions. They also offer very good programs. And getting into NITs is also a tough task. Relatively easier to get into engineering or technology program are the third tier colleges, which we call it as state engineering colleges. Here I want the students to understand, if you get into IITs and NITs, campus placements are very high because most of the corporates prefer or restrict themselves to hiring from the premium institutions, from IITs and NITs. And even after that, if they have further vacancies or further opportunities, only then they'll come into state engineering colleges for campus placement. And in state engineering colleges, there are very few institutions which attract these corporates to come to campus and hire their talent. So therefore, for a student, it is not just enough to get into any engineering college. They have to make sure that they get into some good state engineering colleges where they have a good track record of placement, or else getting placed off campus is a real challenge for any fresher. The last part of STEM is mathematics. We have some very good institutions offering specialized course in mathematics. Out of that, I want to name one, Chennai Mathematical Institute, based in Chennai. They offer an undergraduate program based on their entrance exam. The two programs offered by them are, one is BSc Honors in Mathematics and Computer Science combination, and BSc Honors in Mathematics and Physics combination, and both the programs are for a duration of 3 years. Then we have Indian Statistical Institute, again one of the institutes of national eminence. ISI has got around 5 branches all over India, headquartered in Kolkata. They offer undergraduate course, but for you to take up the entrance test for this institute, you should have studied mathematics and English mandatorily. One program offered by them is Bachelor of Stats. It's an honors program. Other program is Bachelor of Mathematics, again an honors program. And both the courses is for a 3 years duration. One advantage of these institutions is most of them offer you monthly stipend during the course of the program. And when it comes to computer science, generally you can either have a bachelor's of science in computer science or bachelor's of computer application. Both is for 3 years, whether it's a BCA or a BSc computer science. And post-graduation, MSc computer science is for 2 years and MCA would be for 3 years. But if you prefer to join an MCA integrated program, you will be saving 1 year. Else, MCA standalone is a 3-year program. So there is again a very subtle difference between bachelor's in computer application and bachelor's of science in computer science. Computer application is more hands-on, skill-based, more into programming, whereas Bachelor of Science is more theory and concept-oriented. So anyone planning to get into research field, right, is expected to take up BSc and MSc Computer Science. Even for teaching assignments, this is what is going to help. And computer application is preferred more in the industry. And I would also like to refer few institutions which offer some very innovative and well-received courses in the student community. There is an institution in Ahmedabad called Center for Environment Planning and Technology, or popularly known as CEPT. This started off as an institution and now is a university approved by UGC. This institute offers you a 5 years undergraduate program in the field of architecture, and we know that anyone wanting to do architecture certainly has to take an entrance exam called NATA and do well there, and PCM is mandatory at the +2 level if you want to get into architecture. It's a 5-year course. Then this institute also offers you program in construction technology, interior design, urban design, and Bachelor of Design. When you're talking about design, there is one institute which we certainly have to refer to, and that is National Institute of Design. It has got around 3 centers all over India, and this institute, which specializes in offering only design related programs, offers you a 4-year undergraduate program called Bachelors of Design in various disciplines like ceramic and glass design, film and video communication, furniture and interior design, graphic design, product design, textile design. You name it, they have it. So any student who's interested in making a career in the field of design should consider this as their #1 choice. We also have certain service oriented option, that is after your +2 or PUC, if you want to take up job or you want a job oriented course, then there's a couple of options. One is National Defense Academy exam. If you clear this exam after your +2, then you can join Indian Defense Forces. But if you prefer joining Air Force or Navy wing of defense, then mandatorily you should have studied physics and maths at the +2. And for Army wing, any combination is okay. The next option is you can even become a commercial pilot. Again, physics and mathematics are the mandatory subject for you to take up this course. If you like flying all over the globe and if you're comfortable and enjoy that kind of lifestyle, then probably you can consider commercial pilot. But the only issue here is it's a pretty costly course. Then you have Merchant Navy. Again, Merchant Navy offers you various profiles and branches under it. But for anyone to take up Merchant Navy, you should have studied PCM mandatorily at the +2 level. And again, this is a 4 years course. And when it comes to earth sciences, we saw in the previous slides that science basically has the categories physical science, earth science, and life sciences. We saw a lot of options in physical science and we'll be seeing about life sciences. Earth sciences is something which will be combining some element of physical science and also life sciences. So in earth sciences, basically 4 categories or 4 streams of study is popular. One is geology, where we study about Earth's physical structure and substances within the earth crust. Oceanography is all about ocean, the marine life, its ecosystem, the plate tectonics under the sea is what a student will study there. Paleontology, it's about history of life on Earth as based on fossils. So unless they unearth fossils and do a study and carbon dating, they will be. It's a continuous and ongoing process. And then we have meteorology, where they study about atmosphere and atmospheric effects on our Earth. If you can observe here in earth sciences, we study the solid part of the Earth in geology, we study the liquid part of the Earth in oceanography, and you study the gaseous part of the Earth in meteorology. And you also study history of life on Earth based on fossils. All this combined is earth sciences, but one word of caution here, all these courses are more research oriented. So unless you have that orientation, I don't think a student should think about doing courses in earth sciences. And when it comes to life sciences, again, we have plenty of options. Probably, the maximum options we have in life sciences. If you can just look at some of the programs offered here, BSc, BS research programs, MSc integrated, B Pharma, and B Pharma is one course. You can take it up after you complete your PUC based on PCB or based on PCM. For both the combination, this course is available. Then you have certain industry specific BSc courses like agriculture, sericulture, horticulture, forestry, fisheries, home science. And most of these courses would either be for 3 years or 4 years, unless you take up an MSc integrated program, which would be for 5 years. And medical courses obviously is the most sought after and popular program. And the courses what I mentioned here, the MBBS, BDS, BMS, Ayurvedic medicine, BHMS, homeopathy, Unani, naturopathy and yogic science, veterinary science and animal husbandry, all these courses will be for a duration of 5 to 5.5 years, including 1 year of internship. And for you to get into medical course, obviously in India, you have to take up NEET exam, do well there. Only then, you can get admission in these courses. So anyone wanting to become a doctor should certainly have that service motto. And for whatever reason, either because of financial constraints, family constraints, or because you're not able to do well in the NEET exam, if you can't get into medicine, there are again a lot of alternative courses and careers. But the underlying here is, as an individual, you should have that service motive and you should enjoy nursing sick people back to health. If you have that orientation, then you have plenty of paramedical courses. We have bachelor's in physiotherapy, nursing, optometry, cardiac technology, physician assistant, cardiovascular technology. All these courses ranges anywhere between 3 to 4 years. And we also have nuclear medicine technology, neurophysiology technology, paramedical technology, occupational therapy, and medical lab technology. Out of all these paramedical courses, bachelor's in occupational therapy is the only one which is for 4.5 years. The rest all would be either 3 years or 4 years. All this will certainly have good job prospects, not only in India, even abroad. But only thing the student has to make sure they have that service orientation and they enjoy helping sick and patients to be nursed back to health. We have seen physical science courses, earth science courses, life science courses. But going forward, as I discussed in the previous few slides, STEM as a combination should not only enhance the knowledge in particular field, but also equip the students with skills needed to find solutions to real-time problems. I'm just discussing one course here because going forward, collaborative courses is the most in-demand courses. What do I mean by collaborative courses? I give you one example of bioinformatics. If you have to study bioinformatics course, then let us understand what are the areas you will have to cover under bioinformatics. You'll have to study molecular biology, you'll have to study chemistry, computer programming, genetics, biochemicals, genomics, proteomics, statistics, linear algebra. It means every aspect of STEM is covered in one course, that is bioinformatics. And we also have an institute in Bangalore called as Institute of Bioinformatics and Applied Biotechnology. And they support a lot of research and new initiatives in biotechnology, bioinformatics, and big data combined. So therefore, this bioinformatics is symbolic of what is the way forward for students. And the skills what you have to develop, we have already discussed briefly, is what you need to if you're looking for making a real impact in the job market. And then usually there would be a debate or a discussion. Should you study abroad or study local? Each have their own advantages as well as disadvantages. Instead of going the conventional way, I would just like to give you few pointers to think about. The first aspect when you are thinking about studying abroad is cost. So you need to understand whether the university or the institution where you intend to do the course, whether they offer you any scholarships or financial assistance. Very importantly, you need to understand the admission procedure there and prepare accordingly. For instance, if you have to take entrances like SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, if you have to write personal essay, if you have to get letter of recommendation, you need to understand the protocol of admission and also the timeline, because that will help you to prepare, well, you should at least start the preparation 1 year in advance. And the biggest challenge for you would be, the new culture, food and language. So if you have an open mindset, then you can certainly consider studying abroad. But the advantage of studying abroad is you'll have more choices to study, unlike Indian context. And major advantage is you can decide what you want to study as major subject or specialization and minor subject supporting the major at a later stage of your program also. You don't have to, at the beginning of the course itself, decide on that. And the X factor is you will have a lot of international exposure and you'll get that international perspective. This will help you in getting better career opportunities, because today we are living in a truly globalized world, and next generation or Y generation, centennials, millennials, whatever you want to call them, these are the ones who are truly global citizens. It means wherever you get a good career opportunity, you should have the mindset to go there and begin your career. So therefore, international exposure will help you towards that. And now, if you ask me, is this all we have? No, I've just tried to give you few pointers to think about the possible options. If you have to go vertically depth, then time would be a huge constraint. So my disclaimer is I'm just giving you few choices to think through. And I want to conclude this presentation by referring to some new age careers associated with STEM. Let's look at some of them: artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, deep learning, big data, data science, ethical hacking, cyber security, blockchain technology, cloud computing, IoT, food and agricultural science. Believe me, this is one of the futuristic careers, because going forward there'll be a lot of pressure on food production. So therefore, this is one area, if anyone is passionate, can do some courses and start their career. And you have environmental science and sustainable development. Again, it's a catch-22 situation. People want development, but it should not be at the cost of the balance of environment, because whenever environmental balance gets disturbed, the consequences would be felt by us. So you have to know how to balance. So again, that's a big area. Bioengineering, biomedical engineering, chronocurrency. I think most of you are aware of this digital currency, example Bitcoin. Going forward, we'll have a lot of such currencies, and probably physical cash or the hard cash will become extinct. Then green power. Green power is all about sustainable and clean energy. Now, there's a lot of research happening in green power or clean power or clean energy. That is one area, you can look up to. Public health administration. With the pandemic like COVID-19 striking the entire world, how important is public health administrators' role. So that is one area you can consider. Drone technician, going for a lot of services and surveillance, right, would be taken over by drone technology. So you can think of that as a possible option. The 3D printing engineers, going forward, conventional way of doing things will certainly become obsolete, because technology will take over and everything happens in a jiffy because of technology like 3D printing. So these are some of the new age careers, under STEM, and they also have courses for you to study. So only thing you have to make sure is it suits you. Okay. And I always believe, as a concluding thought, I want to give this to you. It's one life. So you better live your dreams. Explore. You have your goals. Take responsibility for your life. And for you to live your dreams, I feel that you should move from confusion to clarity, because if there's confusion or chaos in your thinking, then it will not allow you to move forward. So you have to have a clear mindset. So you need to move from confusion to clarity, from self-doubt to self-belief, from hesitation to confidence, and importantly, from procrastination to action. Don't say you have too much of time, I can do it tomorrow, the next week, because if you keep postponing things, then probably you will never get into the action mode. Unless you get into action mode, you will never be able to accomplish your goals or dreams. So if you have to live your dreams, then you know what is to be done. And I've got a company called Crossroads Solutions in Mysore, helping students, to live their dreams. And in case if you feel you need a personal consultation, you can note my number 94839211010. I prefer WhatsApp message first, and then according to schedule I'll get back to you. And I also have my web page www.crossroad.edumilestones.com. You can certainly visit my web page and understand what are the services I offer. But whatever choice you make, my request is make sure that you are interested in it. Make sure it is according to your strengths. Make sure it is according to your personality. Make sure it is according to your aspirations. Because then, all this will be motivators for you. This will energize you to give your best in a career. Because when you talk of a career, it's nothing less than 30 to 40 years. So you better make the right choice and take up the right course, which will help you to get started with your career. My best wishes to all of you, and I want all of you to make the right choice and do well in your life. Thank you.